Hi, welcome to CAD 107, Joe Cerrone. Introduction to 3D printing for the fall. And this is our weekly Zoom meeting. And so we're going to hold these Zoom meetings on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. And Al and I are usually running these together, but Al has some other things he has to take care of, but not to worry, he will be around. So as we get started here, we're going to use these textbooks. We're going to use the 3D printing projects book. And I really love this book. It's just a book of parts that we can make. And so it has a link over here to Amazon. You can get a free Kindle version, or you can buy the paperback version for $11.31. I'm just going to check here just to make sure nobody else is waiting to get in the room. We're okay. And what I like about the book is it has a lot of project-based material. And we have some of the book available for you. I'm going to switch this over to a student view so I can show it the same way you will see it. And so 3D printing projects book is right here. And then if I open the book, it's got 20 different projects in here. I've got, well, I just have a ring, I guess, on my desk right now, which is this part right here. I made some Oakton rings and some other things with it too. It's just kind of fun. But the projects aren't really in the best of order. The MacBook stand we printed last year and nobody could get them to fit quite right. So I took the project one and replaced it with today's project, which is to print some PPE. But as we go through and we look at these projects, what I like about them is it's kind of geometry based. So as you look at it, if you're using SolidWorks or if you're using AutoCAD or if you're using another software, it's mostly about being able to navigate the software and then being able to read the blueprints and create the parts. And so some really neat things, like we've done a lot with this course, but Alan has kind of straightened it out for me. But you can print these lampshades out of semi-transparent materials, and they just look awesome. They're great things to have in the house where you can say, yeah, I made that. And it's a good way to kind of display your CAD abilities as a designer. I like to do these projects like the chip clips, and we can brand these as well. And so as we go through, 3D Builder is a really great program as well. And I'll start to go into that more as I learn it more myself. But that's one textbook that we'll be using, and we'll be pulling projects from there. Feel free to do all the projects if you want. You know, we're going to kind of paste this at a level for, you know, anybody. But if you're one of those people who just wants to get everything out of the course that you can, I'm all for it. I used to work at a vocational center, and I would just run CAD classes from 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon, and the kids would bus in. And that was kind of how we had to run it because we had so many students in there. The other book that we're going to be using is this Mastering 3D Printing. And this is great for some of the theory. And I really like this book also. It goes into some other elements of 3D printing, like prototyping. And it's not 3D printing, but it'll talk about the different types of 3D printers and some of the modeling and prototyping devices. And so my job is to go out and get this stuff. And I'm pretty good at it. I picked up a laser cutter last year. And this text, or at least the first chapter, if you've looked through it, goes through why you would use a 3D printer. And then it also goes into some other things about modeling and prototyping. So these are terrific books. You can get them on Amazon. You can follow the links. Back to the main page. If we take a look at the syllabus, this is Intro to 3D Printing. It's a 2-credit-hour course, so it's not designed to be this great big work program. It's CAD light when you get down to it. 2-credit-hour course. We've had some people ask if we wanted to increase it. And I do have all the paperwork to increase it, but it takes a year to get everything through the system to be able to do that. But not to worry, if you want to do more, you're welcome to be able to do that. There's no prerequisites. And so, if you're a rookie with CAD, that's fine. But if you're good with CAD, that's even better. And so it's an intro course where we're going to create these 3D printed parts. The learning objectives are basically to be able to apply these different design principles to be able to prototype. And so, it's really simple. We're going to make things, and we're going to make things that have some level of complexity. And so we're not just going to go on to Thingiverse and download things. We're actually going to be able to design and modify things. Academic integrity, these are just things that you don't want to do because it's not worth the price. As far as our outline of topics, why would we use a 3D printer? 3D printers and printable materials, you can make all kinds of things. They have these Kevlar-based materials. They have some that have wood in them, metal, and the wood ones smell like wood, and you can actually stain them. And so it's just neat. And so we'll go through these different learning objectives, and we're going to be project-based. Grading is pretty straightforward. We're going to do these printing labs, and then we have tests and quizzes. The tests and quizzes, Al and I are kind of working on the quiz part of it, but typically we'll have a midterm and a final. And those midterm and finals will be kind of we made a really good midterm where you actually have to go out on the internet and provide pictures of different types of prototyping. And so the midterm is kind of fill in the blank with some short answer and some research material. Straightforward grading scale. And if you do have any special needs, that's not a problem. We like people to feel comfortable coming to Oakton, and there's resources for that. And so if there's anything that you need, feel free to contact some of these resources at Oakton. That's the syllabus. Back to the main content. And then if we take a look at the sequence of topics, this is what you want to keep an eye on as far as what are we doing? Because Al and me, and it's mostly Al, has a tendency to just put everything into the main splash page, which is great because you can look at it and you can see it right away. But we kind of want to know what's next and whether or not we did it right. And so here's our outline of topics. Every week we'll go through a different lab. And so we'll go through this modeling with AutoCAD. We'll do this do not disturb sign. We've made videos for them so that you can stop and pause. And it's so much better than trying to work from a book. So it's a good idea to have a dual screen monitor or dual screen computer, or have like an iPad, where you can have, the video on one and then the CAD system on the other. And we'll start off with some basic ones. And as you can see, we took the projects in the order that we felt they were easier than to take them from the way they have them set up. But it's pretty straightforward. We'll have a fall break in November. And the course will wrap up December 15th. All right, as far as basic policy and procedures, I'm going to go another couple of minutes and then I'll stop this recording, and then I'll go through and demonstrate some techniques and things like that. So basic policy and procedures is that we have everything pretty much in the D2L course shell. And so content here is listed, and we've turned on the labs that we want you to be able to work on. And so we've given you access to the textbooks. Title blocks are something important because 3D printers work on the metric system. And so if you draw something in inches, we either have to convert that by increasing it 25.4 times, or we have to provide a metric title block, which makes more sense, but it happens more often than not that we have to convert things over. So the title blocks, as we go through these, we'll be working with these metric title blocks, and I'll make sure that there's the good one down at the bottom, our metric title block, because if you use that, then you don't necessarily have to do the conversion over it, and you'll see as we go into it. Lab 1 is the shield, and after this recording, I will create another one to show you what we'll be working on. This is really cool. I kind of like it. I printed one up yesterday. It's right here. I had to scale it a little bit to get it to fit, but I don't think I should have, because I'll have to redo the plastic cover on the front. But as you can see, it's just kind of glued on to onto this build plate. And so the technique is that we take these build plates and they're heated. You want heated ones if you can get them, because it's a more stable build. And then I use these Scotch glue sticks, and these work really quite well. I can get them on Amazon for like $5. The Dremel ones are about $5 a piece. They're probably making money on that. So we'll go through this part. We'll create these projects, and we'll use the softwares for AutoCAD. And here's our AutoCAD software. The instructions to download that are in the main splash page. You can also VPN in. And so as we start to look at, the CAD geometries for this, AutoCAD is sort of Al and my longtime go-to software, but SolidWorks is like driving a really fast car compared to driving, an old Volkswagen. And so, depending on, your comfort level, we like to work with AutoCAD, but then if you're a SolidWorks person, you can go faster.
Joe?
Yes, sir.
I sent an email, I think, I don't know if you saw it, but I was unable to get SolidWorks to download with the code that was provided.
There may be a glitch within that. I will fix that because there was SolidWorks changed their licensing, and I went through and got it all straightened out. And so I will make sure that that's accessible. There's an SE code now instead of an SDK code.
Oh, okay.
So if you're using the SEK code, that's the one, SEK, not SDK.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it was, but whichever one was provided in the instructions there, it wouldn't work. I did actually Google and found some other college somewhere that had their document publicly available for downloading, and their code, just so I could do it, but I'd rather not do that.
I talked to my friends at Elgin and they told me what was going on. Something. So we'll use AutoCAD. The videos are in AutoCAD, and you can VPN into the computers. And so if we come back here to the page, the main splash page, here's the instructions for it. And this is the new one. And so use this one for SolidWorks. If you look at it, it's got this number right here across the top.
Okay.
And this one does work. If it doesn't, then I've got to get it back on to work with that.
I can let you know later, because I do have it downloaded, so I can see if that works.
And then you can download and install the AutoCAD software here, or you can VPN in. And so I've got to see where the VPN instructions are. I'll put those in the post, but VPN is not a bad way to go. You can access a computer at Oakton. I'll make sure that this is put back in here. There was a VPN, it might have dropped off, but you can go in and log in and then have all the softwares available. And then lastly, you want to have the Dremel DigiLab software. And this is really a nice software. I've got a version of it open. I'll show it in a minute, but you have this slicing program. And if you're using Windows or Mac, you can use those. I've already opened mine. And so mine is right over here. And I'm going to go through and set it up to print this door opener. I don't have to touch anything with my hands kind of thing. And it's free, which is always nice. It does use quite a bit of processing power. So I have a good computer. And they have this cloud printing, which I've been kind of working on. It's really kind of neat. The idea is that you have this slicer in the cloud, and you can slice to the cloud, and then you can link the computers to the cloud. My IT department isn't going to let me do that here, but I could certainly do that if we wanted to from my house. And what it does is it sends a token, and then it notifies you that you have a print waiting to be printed, and then you just access the token and you're able to do that. So the Print Cloud is kind of neat. Simplified 3D is a really neat program. They charge for it. I think I paid $125. I haven't quite figured out how to use it. And I'm not sure what the GE educational program is. So that's the Dremel software that you will need. And then as you go through and you do these assignments, what we're going to do is we're going to make them CAD based. And so we'll tell you what to turn in. So for example, if I wanted to turn in my shield, what I would do is I would save that file. And then I would save it to my directory. I'm just going to cancel because I already have one. And then what I would do is I would go to the assignments folder and I would submit it here. And so if I wanted to submit that, I go to the module 1 assignments. Here's the rubric for grading it: completeness, accuracy, uses proper design rules. It's just a quick way for us to see how you're doing with it and give you some feedback. And then you can add the file here. Add it. And then you could say, you know, hi, Mr. Rosen. Here is my shield. I have a question. Blah, blah, blah. And then you can submit it. And so, you know, we can work with you in an online environment for those lessons. All right. So that's our basics for the course. We'll have in the announcements the calendar when things are due. If you don't have it, just request an extension. It's better sometimes to just get an extension and to do it correctly or request a Zoom meeting. But Al and I are really, you know, just in it to help people get these projects created and made. It's not sort of some pre-med school class or anything like that. And with
Can I ask
that,
a question?
sure.
What are the quizzes and exams like? How are they? What's the nature of those? Are they designing things in AutoCAD or something?
The midterm is very much like the textbook, like the mastering 3D printing. In the past, we have done some hands-on type, you know, labs, but we converted it to more theoretical because we get a wide population in this course. And so it'll be mostly taking questions from the mastering 3D printing theory. And then I've got to check with Al, but he likes to put in AutoCAD quizzes. And I'm not really sure how deep I wanted to go into that because it might be better served to just keep it on the theoretical level. So I'll verify that, but that's kind of where those are geared towards.
Okay, and those are online remote as well, or do we have to come in for those?
No, those are online remote under quizzes and exams. He hasn't put any in there yet,
Right.
but you can take those. You know, mostly the thing about quizzes and exams is verification of identity. And so when we do the quizzes and exams, you guys are on your honor. But when you take a midterm or a final, those are proctored. And
Okay.
so we can verify who everybody is.
Thank you.
All right, so that's our basic policy and procedures. I'm going to end this recording and I'm going to start another one and we're going to talk about module 1.